Today's our August school meeting. I am Erickson Turner. I am had the privilege of serving as the president for this year of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. And everything that is out here. Just remind them that last week when we heard from Q. Q said something to me that stuck with me that I think that everybody that was a takeaway from me when he talked about what the Boys and Girls Club, Boys and Girls Home did for him, which is allowing him to be a kid. We as Rotarians are doing work in our community. They're allowing people to be kids that have to worry about certain things that they don't want me to worry about. Bringing people out of bad situations. We do things every day, whether we know it or not, that's making an impact in our community. So thank you so much for being here today and for being Rotarians. So with that, I want to give everybody a quick reminder. You should have already scanned this, but if you haven't, please scan the QR code. You get 3 hours of free parking out front. So please make sure to do that. And the next thing we're going to be doing is, if I turn this off, it's our invocation and pledge. We're going to have John Cates come up, please, and lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Thank you, President Harrison. Please stand for the invocation. This applause for a moment of reflection and gratitude as we gather today in fellowship and service. For we give thanks for the many blessings in our lives, our health, our families, our friendships, and the opportunity to serve our community through Rotary. May we approach today's meeting with open minds and generous spirits. Grant us the wisdom as we continue the important work of service above self. We also welcome and give thanks for our guest speaker, Briner, and North Carolina State Treasurer. May his insights inspire us to be better stewards of the resources entrusted to us, both personally and as leaders in our businesses and in our community. Let our time together today strengthen our bonds, renew our purpose, and remind us that through small acts of service, we can build a better, more just, and financially sound future for all. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea shine.
Thank you so much, John. Try with that. A quick update that I mentioned to everyone last week, we're going to highlight it again. We're looking for photographers. You don't have to be having special cameras. Look at Dave right there, just right there. All you have to do is that right there. We are looking for about 3 to 4 photographers. We can take pictures and for the bulletin, for social media, and things like that during our weekly meeting. So please, if you have an iPhone that takes photos, you've got some time. Please email Linda and she'll get you connected to the group with the public image and whatnot. So thank you. And if you do it, you can get a makeup if you miss a meeting. So that's a little bit extra add. Next, well, we're gonna do membership update, but I don't know if there was no guests signed up. That might be my fault. Demon, can you come on up? Would you be willing to go around and introduce the guests? You.
Thank you, President. What we got today? Let me see. New guests. Yes. New faces. All right.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maddie Testing. We work with Seth Large, who's sitting beside me. We work at Sarah in Raleigh, which is a wealth management expert. And recently, so we work football. Have you ever heard of that? Personal intro as well. Never been here before. From North Carolina. And moved back here about 1.5 years ago to work here. And it's been amazing. And I know Harrison. And he invited me today, so I'm really excited to see what you guys got going on. And you guys sound great singing, so that's great.
Thank you, thank you. So you can help me save some money on my taxes, right? All right, I like that. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Elle Vasily. I work with W. Jennings at North Carolina Humane Society. I'm one of our parents, live in Raleigh, it's currently been here.
Introduce it. Actually, come on up. We're glad to have you guys here today.
One person I
Oh,
One person I want to recognize that is not a guest, but I'm glad to have him back. Eric Stevens is back, from his recent full procedure and everything like that. He's doing well, so glad to have you back there. Now with that, Demonte, leadership update.
all right. That being said, I will need Adam to come on up. And then, Mrs. Felicia, come on up, Shakima. Oh, yeah, you can come on up too. So, first thing we want to do is we want to do our first reading with, Mrs. Felicia. She is sponsored by Mr. Shakima. Basically, want to tell you guys about Felicia. She was born and raised in Mobile, Alabama. Felicia has been married to, her husband, Deshaun McLean. They have been married for over a year now. She has a lovely 5-year-old daughter as well too, great daughter, by the way. Felicia received her bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. You know, y'all all right? The nonprofit sector. In this sector, she used her talents as an authenticated connector. Her strength is to connect with people and create lasting relationships that has allowed her to become an excellent fundraiser for organizations such as Big Brothers Big Sisters, Make-A-Wish Foundation, American Red Cross, and Girl Success. Felicia's gifts have led her to recently move to North Carolina. She has become the managing director of Teach for America in North Carolina. Felicia is inspired to be daily, to be a woman of faith, mother, wife, and also help her community. Her favorite hobbies are reading and traveling. Guys, this is Miss Felicia McLean. All right. We have Mr. Adam Solo. He is sponsored by Tom Miller, who couldn't be here today, which is fine. Adam had originally moved from New York to North Carolina 6 years ago. Adam received his associates in mechanical engineering and technology. Adam has had 30 years of experience of being a civil servant working with the New York City Department of Correction as a supervisor. His experience has taught him to be committed to maintaining integrity, but having respect, accountability, and service. Adam is currently retired and believes his purpose of collective progress, goodwill, and peace. Adam loves to fish, swimming, but also Adam loves to walk 3 miles a day. And so I'm inspired to walk that many miles. I'm gonna try to get myself in shape like that. Well, glad to have you here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who we have here right beside me is Dan Daniel. Just a quick reminder, this was Dan's second reading. Just a brief reminder, Dan has been in the nonprofit sector for over 10 years of experience. With Carolina Youth Development Center, Charleston, Conservancy. His current role is Director of Advancement for Children's Cancer Partners. This nonprofit focuses on children with cancer and families who live in South Carolina and North Carolina. But, and this is your second reading, so we want to make sure that, we like to ask you what made you this morning to grow. So then, as a Rotarian, it's important to understand your why. With that, I'd love to hear your why do you want to grow?
Thank you, Devontae. I actually tried to join this club in 2002, back when there were membership categories. And I had just joined Mike Condry's, Northwestern Mutual office, and Mike does a good job of convincing new advisors that they should be part of Rotary. Too many of them in the club. So I tried for 4 years to join this club, and could never get in. In 2020, my wife and I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, and one of our new friends there was a Rotarian and convinced me it was time to try again. So I actually joined Rotary while in Charleston, transferred my membership to the Wilmington Downtown Club. We moved to Wilmington. Now we're back in Raleigh, which was our home for 30 years. So we're really glad to be back. What I appreciate about Rotary in all three cities is not only the way it engages members in fellowship, but more importantly, in service. I've had the good fortune to speak at a number of Rotary clubs in North and South Carolina about the mission of children's cancer partners. That are wonderful, definitely experience for me, and I'm really looking forward to being part of them.
Well, we're
All right, guys, let's let you know, we are having this month, we're having a service social at Real Rooftop on August 28th at 5 p.m. So we look forward to seeing you guys there, and then also to new members. We are having our meeting here at PM at Tobacco Road. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me. Also to any new guests, if you're interested in membership, please seek me. We'd love to have you guys on. We don't have membership categories anymore, okay? All is welcome. All right, thank you.
Thanks so much, Devon, and thank you so much for those our upcoming members. Excited to have you go through the reading journey and get you in the club and get you to work with all the good work we're doing here at the Club of Raleigh. The train's coming, so we're gonna hurry and move on to something that I'm excited about. I like to try to do new things and switch things up a little bit. So for our extroverts, you're gonna love this. Introverts, just lean in a little bit. But one of the things I would love for us to do is we talk about why Rotary. We heard it from Daniel a second ago. We all here have a why, and we all have a story about what Rotary has impacted or done to us in our lives. So what I wanted us to do is kind of lean in on that, give us an opportunity to kind of talk together at the table, learn more about each other, and just hear other people's, like, how has Rotary impacted your life? Is there a certain memory you have, or a certain service project, or something like that, that kind of resonates with you and why you're Rotarian? So we're just gonna take the next couple of minutes, have a little bit of group discussion at your tables, and just share your why, or share a story of what why Rotary connects with you. So go ahead, and I'm gonna ask probably one or two people if they would like to come up and share their story, or their memory, or their why. So, go.
You guys got during the.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, people here are.
I can say one of the, I mean, if we're just talking about like the service thing, I actually do really like doing the Bellary.
So everyone on Zoom, if you guys want to unmute yourself and talk, you can go ahead.
You get a half hour, one person, half hour.
What would you like us to say?
You, I didn't think you were gonna say anything.
Stay in the chat, but.
Not when we talk about it.
It's not great. It's not great.
We did do a,
Jennifer?
Yes, I can hear you.
we did a.
Yeah, it's not great. It's very distorted and difficult to hear.
July 31st, they did a Christmas in July.
I've put my headphones on for that reason, to try and make it easier, but it's not
Okay.
making any difference.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's the distortion between the speaker's podium and where you're sitting. That's the problem. It's picking up, I think, the echoing and also any noise nearby.
Let me. Is that any better?
No, I'm having the same problems. It's not any better either.
I think you guys can speak among because
That's just something I make from sitting in.
I'm not even sure what the topic is.
This is a great place now. Everybody's small.
I'm a new Rotary member, I've just been a member for a month and a half, and I am just here to try and meet people and get more involved in the community.
Pleasure to meet you, Susanna. Hopefully we'll meet in person at some point in the future.
Yes, hopefully so. So the discussion says, why did you choose Rotary? Why Rotary for you?
Oh, I see. We've lost our speaker, have we? I was just thinking, huh? What are they doing? I didn't even realize. So now I understand.
If you turn on chat, it's showing that.
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah, sorry. I kind of like trying to do 5 things at once. Well, I've been a Rotarian for quite a long time. So I was a Rotarian in London, in the Shoreditch and City of London group. And I'm a past president for my sins of that particular chapter as well. I believe in service above self in very simple terms. It's really as simple as that for me.
Here, we're gonna do this every week or whatnot, but I want us to do this more often. Get to know each other a little bit more, share our why, whatnot. So, sound like there was a good discussion at the tables. Do I have 1 or 2 people that be willing to share their story, their why? Oh, come on, brother.
Better speaking. So I have a small business, and my business can only be as good as my network. So this is a great place to build quality connections with good people, and it's not just about something new. This is service component and friendship component. I don't feel like I'm come here and I have to pitch or I'm gonna get pitched to. I come here and get to know people and hear what they do, and they can share what I do. They have me, or they know somebody that has me. So if you want to feel like your network, all the people, it's a great place.
Do we have any other volunteers? Mike? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the why is usually, you know, all about the service, but kind of what what it's turned into is getting to know all of you people and getting a chance to see you and kind of what was a service project that made you think of it. I really enjoy doing the bell ringing because you kind of get, for every hour that you're out, you're gonna get to spend 30 minutes with one person, another 30 minutes with the other person. Way we overlap it, and then, yeah, that's kind of one of the ways I've gotten to meet most of the people around here as well.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I definitely feel like Rotary is an extended family to me, and that's the feeling that a lot of us have in this group. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of bell ringing, I think that's a great segue to have a service update by Kevin. We did some Christmas in July bell ringing. It was a great time. Kevin.
First time for everything. So we did ring the bell last Thursday, and there's pictures of it. For once, normally we're standing in front of Walmart and we're hoping on that cold day where the doors open and we get that little bit of heat that comes out the door and it warms you up a little bit. Well, this was one of those days where every time the door opened, it was nice to have a little bit of cold air that hits you in the back. It was a great event. We didn't know what to expect. It's the first time the Salvation Army has done this Christmas in July. It was just a special event. Saw a lot of good faces out there. We were able to actually, at some point, I had 3 and 4 volunteers, so we split up and ran both course. But drum roll, please, we raised over $650 in one day. I see a lot that people would look at us, and some people did say, "What are you guys doing?" And just walk by, but there was so much generosity. I never saw the outcome. I figured if we could get $100, we'd be doing good. So that was 6 times my expectations. Thank you. Just keep an eye out, August, September, we've got events coming up. The book drive, I'm still looking for laundries. If anybody has any contacts in the laundry business. Richard's not here today, but, we'd like to get that. Oh, Richard is here. Come on up, Richard. I didn't see you. Want to say, give us an update? I did not.
Hey folks, Richard Everett, Service Chair. I think an update this morning. So there is a string or a chain of laundry racks called the Wash House. There's all over North Carolina, but they actually have 9 chains in the train, the Raleigh. And they said they have an existing program where they partner with Radio Rotary. So I thought, well, can we just collect books for Wake Up and Read and, silo for this? They said absolutely. So I think that helps us and that, we're not going to 9 different places. If we just go to one place, we can bookmark books we collect or Wake Up and Read. So again, I share with you, we have a partnership with them, pass it. So we're on this soon, but yeah, it's not great to do this last night. No, man, just, they got whole shelves in them, so it's a really nice set. And, so, yeah, they just got the boats that they here. Awesome.
Is it new books?
They were generally used. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had, oh, there you go, yeah,
That's actually not yet, it's still September, so in September, just a heads up, and I'll give you more details, but we are gonna do a Saturday, North Raleigh Ministries has a thrift store and then off of Brentwood and Capitol Boulevard. And so those of you guys that never, worked in a thrift store, this will be your first event and volunteer, thanks.
it's all right, next we have a quick update with Shaquille McLean. She is our new generation chair. She's gonna be talking about a fun event, Packapalooza, coming up later this month. So Shaquille.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? My name again is Shaquille McLean and I am the new generation chair. Real quick, on the 23rd of this month, we are having the Packapalooza. This is an annual event hosted by NC State, welcome to Packapalooza. And this is why we're part of this, we are co-advisors to the Rotary Club in NC State. So we will be out there assisting them at a table, helping them grow their club. So again, I'm only looking for 4 to 5 volunteers from 1 to 6. If you want to stay for the entire event, the event starts from 1 o'clock all the way up to 9:30. But you will be out there to 6. So again, I'm looking for volunteers. Volunteers. It's a Saturday. I believe, rain or shine, they will be out here. All right, well, thank you so much.
So last year, Shaquille was at this event. They do the Packapalooza every year. It's our opportunity to help our Rotary Club of NC State, and those people inevitably come Rotarians some point in their life. Shakima manned the booth by herself the entire day. So I just want to say that, let's show up for Shakima, let's show up for Rotary this year, and make sure there's a little crowd. We're looking about 5 people to help out. Next, we've got a fundraising update by our very own John. I always love something. John.
Thank you very much, Harris. Greetings, everyone. Glad to see you here today. Exciting news. We've heard a little bit about the America 250 tree campaign. We're getting some traction. We're excited. I got a lot of announcements today. We'll make them quick. First announcement, we have a presenting sponsor. We'll take more than one presenting sponsor, but the presenting sponsor we have so far is North State Bank. Okay, secondly, we have a media partner. Now, the agreement's not quite finalized, but I don't think they're gonna say no after they've already said yes. So kind of keep these to ourselves. The media sponsor for our year-long America 250 tree campaign in the city of Oaks is WRAL. I'm excited to say they are over the moon to be a partner with us on this important campaign we're doing for our city for America 250. They're going to cover our ceremonial tree plantings. They are going to give us some airtime to talk about our campaign to raise money to plant trees, oak trees in Raleigh, and they're going to give us social media boosts as well. So more details to come, but I'm really excited that WRL is on board with our fundraiser. Now, the next thing is how are we going to do this fundraiser? Well, I think I mentioned earlier, every member of our club is a fundraiser. So Weston, you are a fundraiser. You're a fundraiser there, Mr. Banker. Tom, you're a fundraiser. But we needed some elite leadership for these fundraising teams. We're gonna have 3 fundraising teams. So let's announce the team captains. Team captain number 1. Yeah. Charles Bailey. Yeah. Kind of a modest individual, and to be compared to Captain America is probably not something that we would imagine. But he's married, he has 3 children, 17, 15, and 9, I think is what it says. And trust me, you've got to be Captain America when you're raising 3 children. On top of that, he's originally from Vance County. I know where Vance County is. You know where Vance County is? Yeah. And he's a bodybuilder. So if he's your team captain, remember, he's a bodybuilder. Okay? He knows how to twist an arm. Okay. Next team captain is James Lamontian. Now, James is a relatively new member, but he's an artist and he's an entrepreneur. He's joined in 2023 here. He has 2 children and he has a granddaughter. So if you're on James's team, just remember that sometimes James can be abstract. Okay? Because he's an artist. But he knows he's had several art galleries. He knows how to get money out of people's pockets for things that other people might not be interested in. So James, we're glad they got you on. Yeah. And lastly, we've got Chuck Leedy, and Chuck is in the room. He's sitting at the back. Chuck is a financial guy. You read his bio on our club website. You know, Chuck knows money, and we're excited to have a fundraiser who knows money. Chuck has 3 children, one of which is a comedian. And I gotta tell you, he is very funny. I watched this video. Maybe we can get him to come help us on a performance or something. But anyway, thank you for volunteering. To the 3 of you, we're gonna have a good time. You'll be hearing from your team captain later this month as we finish up the important work of the sponsor levels and all the documents that we need to support the campaign. And lastly, the rally. So, would you mind, since you know my theory, right? I trust you with money, we trust you with a lot, and draw a ticket and read
825-799.
799. We have a winner? We do. Right.
Sorry.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Jay. Well, thank you for the update, John. It's very exciting what we're going to be doing with this fundraiser, and it's going to be a huge impact. So thank you so much for all the work John's been, I call it the Energizer Bunny. Happy dollars. Charlie, you got a quick moment for happy dollars? Also, the dimensional lines, red buckets on the table, you got any loose change and whatnot, all those dollars goes towards supporting the dimensional lines. And then, Charlotte. Madeline.
Harrison, okay. I see one, got one back, who's on the back? All right, Eric Stevenson.
Thanks, sir. This is a happy, $10 for, to thank everybody for, all of the kind, support and, care that you've given since my surgery. And I'm pleased to tell everybody that the surgery went well. I'm back on my feet. Made it to a Rotary meeting, and I'm just so grateful for the letters, texts, everything that all of you did for me. I'm gonna take a quick moment on point of privilege. This friend I live around, and it's a target-rich environment for prostate cancer. It's all we're in, right? And we've got our share of it. I'm gonna give a little PSA about PSA. So I didn't know what a PSA test was, a prostate-specific antigen test, until I had an appointment, doctor's appointment in January of this year, where I found out that my PSA level was high. And if you are 50 years old or older, have a talk with your primary care doctor about whether you're getting PSA tests. Because that is the first indication. This is leading down a road that ultimately July 15th surgery. And I think there are a lot of people that don't necessarily get that. And if you get it, then please get it every year. Which we could just part of their normal practice. And don't be too alarmed if it comes back a little high. It's oftentimes something other than cancer. But regardless of whatever it is, modern medicine does amazing things now. Looking for that. So,
Got $4 happy. My youngest of 4 granddaughters turned 1.
That's great.
I think I got a small epiphany recently. Last week I had a tube pulled, everything fine. Medicine recommended by a woman who found in Wake County Smile Party, which is heavily supported. So I realized all things good was
Kevin's up.
I had a chance last night, I'll read about spent a half hour with John Cates, and guys, there's some people in this room that did not live during the bicentennial, who were alive in 1976, to remember what this country. You remember what the country and all the big deal that was. American 250 snuck up on us. Now it's 50 years later. This is going to be a big deal. John Cates, I have a feeling, guys, we'll be looking at this a year from now. And Rotary, this is gonna be really big for this club, so thank you, John.
Thank you so much for everybody for those happy dollars. Birthdays, we have none, but we do have anniversary. Reagan and Ardith Weaver, 44 years on the 8th of this month, as well as Pete and Jennifer on the 10th. How many years for you guys? 12 years, so congratulations to you all. A quick reminder on upcoming meetings. On August 11th, we have our next meeting. We have Michael Hayden with the Wake County Economic Development. He'll be coming out to speak on the development of Wake County. We have no meeting on the 18th. On the 25th, we have Gary Green with Green Resources. He's going to be talking about making authentic connections. He's a wonderful man. He's also a fellow Rotarian. And then September 1st, we have no meeting for Labor Day. So with all that being said, now we're moving on to our featured presentation. We are so honored to have Treasurer Briner here with us. We've had treasurers a long legacy of them coming and speaking at our club on an annual basis, so thank you for continuing that legacy. Treasurer Briner was sworn in on January 1st of this year. As treasurer, Brad is responsible for managing about $250 billion in assets, overseeing the state's pension and healthcare plans, helping to assure the financially sound issuance of the debt of the state and local governments, and maintaining the state's AAA bond rating. Prior to running for office, Brad was most recently the co-chief investment officer for Willett Advisors. Willett manages the philanthropic and personal investments, assets for Mike Bloomberg. Brad graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I thought I was gonna get Diamante and say, woo. As an important scholar with a degree in economics and with a distinction. He has also received an MBA with distinctions from Harvard Business School. He and his wife reside in Chapel Hill with their 4 children. Brad, we're so honored to have you here today. We'll turn over the mic to you, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here, and particularly the pleasant surprise to see Chuck Lee. Chuck, it was one of my first bosses, my first job at home. And so it's a pleasure to see you. I gave you a good recommendation. Well, thank you all for the time, and I've got approximately 1,000 slides. So I'm going through every single one that you want to, if that's okay. I've got a lot of different things to talk about. I'll try to keep it pretty short and take your questions, because that's what's interesting for me. So I hope you'll indulge me with those. Which is not in downtown Raleigh. There's one fun fact about the treasurer's office. We moved out of downtown Raleigh a decade ago. We're trying to get back ever since and haven't quite figured out our way here, but maybe figure it out next year. Let me tell you a little about myself, and then I'll get into what the treasurer does and how we're doing. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. I'm the youngest of 4 boys. You can see the nice bowl cuts in the little picture of me, which will tell you in the 80s. And on the right, that's my family. Also, in King Stadium, we are massive Tar Heels who live across the street from the university. The only regret I have about being the state treasurer is that I had to step off the board at Chapel Hill to do it. So you can tell where my loyalties lie. I did wear red for you guys. So I'll be proud of them for that. One of the things you don't see here, though, is one of the formational experiences of my life. And that is, I'm going back to the middle picture there. When I was young, about this age, my dad lost his job, and I was probably 5 when that happened, so I had no idea. But I did know one thing, and that was that my parents were very happy. And you never forget that. You spent a lot of years trying to figure out why that was. And for me, what I've learned over the years, and what many people who I talk to have experienced, and what you have, is that stress that it puts on the family. What it does to you, what it does to your family is irreparable. And one of the things that I've been spending my life trying to do is make sure that that never happened to my family. And now making sure that never happens to as many families in North Carolina as not possible here. It's that my way. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're doing with the treasurer's office today. So what does the treasurer do? We do a lot of things. We've got 7 different divisions, some bigger than others. I'll talk about really 2 of them because they're by far the biggest. But all of them touch your money. And that's where I want to think that. It is your money. And we'll never forget that. It's the citizens of North Carolina's money. It's not ours. It's not just the retirees. It's not just the state employees. It is all the citizens of North Carolina. So whether you're a state employee or a former state employee or never wanted to be a state employee, we manage your money. You may not think of it that way, but we certainly do. So we want to be responsive to the 11 million North Carolinians, no matter who you are, because it is your money. So they could be as your financial advisor, and that is why I go by Brad. I am not a treasurer necessarily, that is my job, but in the end, I work for you. So I hope to address that way. I hope to ask some questions in that way, and hope that we serve you in that way. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our newest effort, and that is administering Hurricane Helene. Obviously, it happened almost 10 months ago. It's still fresh in our mind. There's still a lot of recovery to do. If you've been out west to see that. We've been asked to do a small part of the recovery there. And over $100 million has now been issued by us in towns and counties out there for disaster recovery relief, principally debris removal right now. The state of North Carolina hasn't done a fantastic job of that hurricane relief historically. And the reason, honestly, why is that it is a job that can't be done perfect. You're talking about shattered lives, talking about devastation of biblical proportions. And while the efforts are heroic in the state, it will never feel that. So I think that's table stakes to this conversation. But that doesn't mean we stop trying, it doesn't mean we don't learn from what we've done before and get better at it. And so that's what we did in this program. We saw efforts hamstrung by bureaucracy. People making distressed municipalities fill out applications for money to see, with the central question of, do you need the money? Well, of course they do. That's why we have them. These are municipalities that have been hit by hurricanes. So the idea that they would need the money and they need to prove that to us for applications, kind of laughing. It's government's worst. So how do we make it government's best? We actually dismantled the application process entirely. We sent out agreements. If you want money, sign this and send it back. It was that simple. Now, there's a lot more to it. It just gets to the ethos of how I want to build a department. We want to get to brass tacks. We want to get into what's important as fast as we can, because time ultimately is our enemy. So that's the disaster services business. That's new to us. Unclaimed property, we talked about a little bit. We have about $1.4 billion of your money at instantcash.com. If we haven't gone there before, please go there now. That will transition to instantcash.gov shortly. 30 years ago, I think the decision was made to name everything .com in our office. And honestly, when I call people to tell them we have $100,000 in there or more, the most common reason that people hang up on me is when I tell them that the rest is .com. It's just, it's a scam. So we've just got about changing that. So you'll see that coming soon to a website near you. But I hope that you've checked for your own thing about it, because at least 1 in 7 of you have money with us. It may not be a lot, I think a tremendous amount. So I encourage you to check. We're the banking state as well. So we move around about 10,000 wires a day in between governmental entities. There are 1,100 governmental entities in the state, so there's a lot going on, payments in different entities. So we're the financial architecture of the state. We run the local government commission. This oversees a tremendous number of towns and counties in the state. A little history here. I go back to the Great Depression. North Carolina was just about the worst managed state financially of the entire 48 at the time. We had 60 counties, 60 out of 100 that were ready to fall. And the powers that be at the time got together with the legislature and decided what we would do. And they put local government commission in place as a result. What we do there is a model for the rest of the country. It's one of the reasons why the state is so well run financially. It has been for so many years. We check people's audits. We require them to do audits. And in fact, when they want to borrow, they have to give our permission. So that is what the local government commission does. And it keeps us in really good financial shape. We have not had a general obligation bond with all 30 years long. We're the only state in the country that can say that. And we should all be proud of that. It also leads to cheaper borrowing costs. So we all pay less in interest costs because of that strong tradition of fiscal service. Moving on to the retirement system. I'm going to say that this part of it, when we come back to it, we're doing the investment side, because that's an important change. And so over to that now. We have been fiscally conservative, have been traditionally extremely well done. The pension system is only in good shape operation. And you might ask why that is. The state legislature has fully funded its commitments to our pension for 83 of the last 84 years. Again, we're the only state in the country that can say that. We are, as a bipartisan matter, really, really well. That said, we have given the cost of living adjustments to retirees about a decade. Over that same period, inflation's about 42%. So the purchasing power of a retiree's dollar on the stage is down 40%. Why? Why are we not doing cost of living adjustments? It's because of our investment performance. Our investment performance has been 50 out of the 50 states over the last 20 years. This gets to why I decided to run on the trip. Going back, I spent the first 25 years of my career building institutional portfolios. So first, I learned from Chuck, managing the University of North Carolina's endowment. Then we launched a business managing money for a series of families throughout North Carolina. And then in 2011, I got a call from my entrepreneur, who's one of the 10 richest people in the world, to manage his money. The only wrinkle with that was that was okay with anymore. And my wife wasn't moving. I didn't really want to move, so I spent 12 years, 5 days a week, going up to New York City. And that got old. And I was at a moment in late 2021 where I walked into Mike's office. 2021, for those who are investors, 2021 was one of those years you dream about. There's nothing, anything going on, it all done. It makes all look smart. Sometimes that happens. So I walked into his office and I said, Mike, we made you so many millions of dollars this year. And I needed him to say, great job, so I can go back to the team. We got 125 people on the team. And he looks me in the eye and says, "What are you doing?" And that was the moment when I was like, I'm not gonna work for you long. Because if you don't value the efforts of your whole team, you don't value the money that we're putting into your foundation, you and I see the world a little bit different. And so it started me on this journey to thinking about running the treasurer, but I started to work on being treasurer and realized the investment performance was where it was. Where it had been until later this year, I thought that I had a lot of. I thought I could take the skills that God gave me and apply them to the central challenge that we have. So that was the thesis of my campaign, and we made some really good progress in that regard. For the longest time, we had what's called the sole fiduciary model. Means one person, treasurer, gets to make all the investment decisions. There are only 2 other states that have this model, New York and Connecticut. Thankfully, North Carolina doesn't have this, but both New York and Connecticut have treasurers who are in jail because of the abuse of power that comes from that model. We have always had one in public service in this role, so we don't have that problem, but for that reason alone, but the investment performance that comes out of it is almost always below average. Why is that? I'll tell you why, and I had this experience again on Friday. It is absolutely nauseating when the market goes down. We lose a lot of money on something like that. Try to think about how I'm going to explain that. But that is what happened. Markets fluctuate. They do go up more than they go down, but you do have those days where it makes you sick to your stomach. Putting all that power in one person's hands pushes that person to make the wrong decision at the wrong time because it is nauseating. It's totally understandable. But it leads to that. We've done 5% a year for 25 years. We've been telling you we make 6.5%. That doesn't sound like a big difference. But 1.5% of $130 million is a lot of money every single year. And that money is coming out of your taxes. It's not coming from the retirement, it's coming from your taxes. So that was the central message of my campaign. How are we going to fix this? Thankfully, that message is really well received. We have what's called the Investment Modernization Act. Put it forward early in the year. It passed the Senate unanimously. It passed the House unanimously. And the governor signed it into law on June. So we're off to the races. It's changing fundamentally how we make investments for our state. Really with the goal of going from 5 to 6.5% a year. We're not trying to shoot the moon. We're not going Vegas and looking all red or black. We're just trying to get better returns, make the math work for you, citizens, make the math work for retirees, and get back in a better position. We're off to a really good start. Sometimes the market helps, makes it a little smart. So that's certainly a little bit of what's in on this year. But we have made $11 billion so far here today. We're supposed to make 5 million. So we're well ahead of what we're supposed to be doing. And we're really proud of those efforts, and it really speaks to the government's involvement or interest in it. That will allow us to spend those monies elsewhere, which brings me to the state of health, which is one area where we will spend the reason a lot of those funds. Health insurance, it's not a natural fit in the treasurer's office. It used to be managed by the state legislature. And then over time, health insurance kept getting more and more expensive, and people's outcomes from health procedures weren't getting better and better. And I think they were looking for someone else to do it. And Treasurer Cowell, who you saw us down there, Cowell, is willing to take that on about it. It is still a struggle.
We still have the challenges of inflation in healthcare, being fast in almost anything. We still have the challenge with outputs aren't going up as fast as the cost of them. When I walked into the office, we recognized that in 2026, we need to find $500 million. And in 2027, that was going to be another $1 billion. The scale of the problem was so big, it was actually very evident that the solution had to be asked to everybody. The first thing we did was bring to the state legislature and ask them for a lot of money. They had an incremental total for every state of $300 million in budget this year. We asked them for 100 million. And they said yes. They recognized the challenge. We went to all the providers. And we asked them to take less. They did not say yes. Well, they thought. And then only then, we went to the state employees and said, we're gonna have to raise your fee. That has not been done in 8 years. Given the cost inflation of that same year, we're proud of how the thing was flat for the state employees for as long as we have. But we've earned $1 billion doing that, and we don't have that $1 billion. So we are replacing people as they go around premiums. Those are going to rise. Some of them temporarily. The state health plan continues to be a down for our state. We're going to be $45 per member per month. The average corporate plan in the state is $190 per member per month. So it is still an amazing benefit for our state employees, but it is additionally less amazing than the cost. But that only gets us to the short term. We're gonna have to try to change the healthcare system to get us to the medium term, and that's much harder. I don't know that we're gonna be successful with that, but we've got some plans that are underway that will really help. In the end, one of the things that I think you learn from studying all sorts of businesses is that competition drives better outcomes. And there are absolutely parts of healthcare where you can't have competition. You can't need to shop. You walk into the emergency room. You shouldn't need to shop for multiple primary care providers, but you recognize that. But it turns out the biggest expenses in healthcare are things that you have some time to think about, and you can go to multiple locations, particularly in the urban areas of the state. The other thing you realize when you study the state health plan, 770,000 members paying a commercial rate, which is well more than the federal government pays. People want you business. Because of the volume you bring, the price you pay is other way too. So how do you marry those things together? We announced this last week, a pilot program, it's more than a pilot, with a group called Rancher and Home. What we're doing there is empowering our state employees to make a choice of where they have major medical procedures and incentivizing them to choose the lowest cost option at the state level. We're only going to use high quality providers. So think about getting a knee replacement here. You can go to UNC, Duke, Rex, Merge Ortho, etc. These are all very high quality. What if there's a little competition between those folks for your business? Lowest price wins. You can only bid if you have high quality. If we do that, and get a lower price, we're going to pass the savings along to our members. Now that we know no insurance, no co-pays, no deductibles, we have to choose the preferred provider. But if you want to choose the others, you can still go back to the old way of paying your deductibles and co-pays and insurance. That's the choice that we want you to have. But by doing this, we're going to drop the price by 30% of these procedures. We're going to enable our members to have access to the $1,000+ of savings for having the procedure in a place that is better for us. And guess what? And most importantly, the provider wants them. The provider wants to stay in this program because the operating room is full. So think about operating rooms like airlines. Once they're left empty, or once that seat is not in, flight takes off. How do we ensure that they never have that problem? They always benefit from having the procedure over on those operating rooms, bringing them on volume the way that we're getting this thing off. So that's the future of this program. We're off the races with land. We're going to try to bring that competitive ethos to a bunch of parts of the healthcare system. But the inertia is incredible. So we're going to break it up there, I'm sure, on one or two of these things, but we're going to try a number. I think we'll get to a better cost structure in state development. That is by far the biggest thing on our plate, 2026. Now that we have the best modernization in place, in 2025. So the rest of the slides I'm going to flip through. Those are the big items on our plate in the treasurer's office. We do administer the 401k plan, the 403 and the 457 plan. So anytime it touches the state's money or your money, we're in charge of it. Teasers, elders, etc. I'm going to skip through all this and then get to your questions. The one thing I'll leave you with is digital assets, and I always get this question, so I'll just try to talk here. There's been a lot of discussion around digital assets. There was a bill filed in the House and was passed in that, enabling the treasurer to buy essentially just a Bitcoin directly. Those who were familiar with digital assets, the initial legislation was a little bit amusing. What it empowered me to do, and only me, was to buy up to $10 billion worth of Bitcoin, but I had to hold these myself. If you know what that means and what the next step is, that leads to me getting kidnapped. No, we're not really excited about that part of the bill. That's thankfully didn't change. But now it enables us to invest in digital assets. The truth is, those who are investors, you know, we can probably do that already. We can't do it directly, but we can do it indirectly. If the futures market, we can do it the ETF market. We choose not to. Not because these assets aren't interesting. It's because they're not a good fit for who we are as an investor. We're trying to make 6.5%. And if we can get a swap on somebody I trusted, maybe 6.5, a little bit more over time, and just play a lot of golf, that would be a good answer. You can't do this. We don't really need to own an asset that goes up and down by 1% every day. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help us with our low volatility. So we've not found a goal for the it's not about open to it, but I consider all options. But I always get asked this question, so we have to go ahead and so with that, well, I pause there. So it's a pleasure to be your state treasurer. One of the things that I want everyone to take a look at is this, and I'll stop here. We launched the branch news. Loretta was with me. Her team did a fantastic job putting this together every month. We released this month's edition last Friday. Different topic every month, trying to demystify finance with people. This most recent issue was about credit scores and helping people understand why they matter, what they are, and how you do a better job with it. So if everyone would check this out, send it to anyone you know, or if need for this, I would really appreciate it because it's passionate about it for all of us. So with that, I'm going to stop. You know, a lot of different topics we can talk about. Anything you want to mind, I'm happy to take. Thanks.
Yeah, law passed recently in Washington, if you can look at some part of our over pushing some of the Medicaid costs for the burden back to the state. Is that going to affect the budget pretty significantly, or what are the forecasts on that?
Yeah, I'm speculating here a little bit. This Medicaid is outside what we do. There's no question that essentially spends a lot of federal expenses back in the states in one way, shape, or the other. What we do, I do not know. We've got some time until that comes into effect to figure that out. Medicaid expansion was very large for this state and particularly rural. So it's no surprise that the rural healthcare system is under real stress. And Medicaid expansion was a big help of that. State health is a big help of that. We're not going away. In the big view of the bill, there was $50 million allocated for rural hospital. That's not going to be enough to try to solve some of those problems. It's a basic problem. Less people, and you can't afford large fixed costs. We have a similar issue with the rural water and sewer that's in front of the top, where the solution and I think frankly economic development is the best answer. But EDC has done in places like Graham County or Richmond County or other places like that last year really is probably good. That to me is the best answer to all these problems. Is material economic development in rural parts of the state that has the effect of solving the hospital problem, the water and sewer problem, making the Medicaid expansion challenge for less people.
Sorry.
State would probably have some degree. Where you have
So the disaster relief is truly a team, right? There's the old lady floor, and now it's road. And it's treasure department, college department, so we all touch different pieces. Like the reason that they put what they did, treasure development, is it's so closely intersects with the local government pushing us. So the relief that we provide is only to towns and counties, not to businesses or businesses and individuals, frankly, they don't. So that is it's easy. So what the future of FEMA is, I do not know. Our observation is that FEMA does show up, and the problem is eventually it's too long. And it's very, very common. From a formal and will there be a push down in the states of FEMA? I don't know. We have averages of I think it's $600 million a year of FEMA payments. The last 10 years annualized. It's about, of course, when I'm late. We're not ready to fill paper shoes yet. Gonna have tomorrow.
That's not the more very way. Yes, sir.
So the question has been here is $37 billion federal level, and how's that going to get work for Ohio? I think first we're going to worry about our home, and the balance sheet of our state is pretty good. The Republicans, you were taking the same still, I suppose the Republicans took over the legislature in 2012. We got about $9 billion of state debt. We have the federal government another $3 billion on top. Those numbers are pretty conservative. Gone from $12 billion, that kind of debt to $3 our state. But what is not in those numbers are the non-debt items. Pension system, the state health system, that was about $40 billion back then, it's about $50 billion. So that's what I'm responsible. So we're trying to get those numbers to a better place. But the $37 trillion on the federal level, of course, we'll get the people in North Carolina ultimately in one way, shape, or form, whether it's higher taxes or whether it's money coming out of Washington to help us with jobs like Medicaid. I think that's the inevitable consequence of having too much of the federal. And so I think as a state, all we can do is what we're doing, and that is get ahead of it, anticipate it, and make sure that we can have plenty of unlimited funds for when all this does, and all those changes do come on the reserve.
Appreciate your presentation and kind of giving us an eye on what you and your team are working with. You manage billions of dollars. One of the things that we like to give people that's a priceless item is the guest speaker Rotary Club of Raleigh. So no one can buy that. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you. All right, thank you all for being here again. We are going to go ahead and stand, and we are asking Paul Watson if he would please lead us in our four-way test as we leave today. Paul.
I'm okay. Yeah. Anyway, the things we think, say, and do, is that the truth?
Is it fair?